Morning, folks. We are heading back into the Green Mountains today. It's going to be a day of some flexibility because depending upon conditions, plan A is we're going to go down a trail immediately behind me, hop a couple of streams, and close the loop on the Five Bogs area from the southeast. If not, we've tried this hike in the past and the river crossing was a little bit dicey, so if that does not work out, then we are going to induce a new research project early by an outing and head north to the northwest and attempt to do an initial recon into an area that will be part of what will become known as the Manitou project. If we have some incredibly bad luck today, then we have a plan C and we will head to the northeast and head in from that direction and see what progress we can make from there. So we have plans A through C. What direction the day will take is at this point indeterminate. We will see what conditions provide. And before we get going, I guess a couple of announcements. The fact is I am about 80% of the way through a book project I've been working on. The only question at this point is whether it's going to be one book or two and how I organize the material involved. So there's that, and when I get done with the video for this, I've also I've taken up the hobby of photography while I'm out here, and I've been selling art prints as part of the photography, so I will include a link at the end of the video for people who might be interested in looking at that. Other than that, we're gonna get going at this point. We're going to saddle up and see what the day brings. Like I said, it's going to be a flexible kind of day potentially, so we'll see where we end up and we'll make the corresponding updates as we do. So we're gonna get going, and that's that. We are recording, and it would seem we're going to go with plan A, although the fording of the stream got my feet wet, although I do have to say that my boots had a higher water mark than I expected them to, so a little good, little bad there. So but we're going to do this, at least initially. There's also a second, if Google Maps is correct, a second crossing up ahead. So there's actually two of them. We're only halfway over that obstacle at this point. So plan A initially anyway. And we'll take it from there. I might actually also fault my semi-wet foot to the nature of my, the slippery nature of the rocks, rather. They, as I've not been in this particular section prior, so. We can see where this goes. Wonder if this is the second river crossing. Hopefully it was easier than the first one. It was kind of slick. But if it's like, these rocks are a pain in the butt though. Right now, this is as much bushwhack as it is really trail. But but we'll go up a ways. If for no other reason, I do like to know where things connect in a larger habitat, so you can have options down the road. That being said, I like the other ways I've gone in better. This is a bit rocky and the like, so, but very rocky, in fact. It's all rocky. But this would be our second crossing. Which brings us to the same dilemma we had before, which is this worth the endeavor of crossing? But let's have a look. This looks more doable, potentially. Well, let's a short bushwhack over there might save you some grief, if that's not a major pain. Pop through this stuff maybe, if that's doable. And go around behind that. Or that's all swamp. Alright. Maybe not. Maybe not. Or we just give our boots a free washing, maybe. Unless this gets crazy deep. Doesn't seem to. The major bitch is just these rocks are slippery. That's really the major thing here. I just need to find the shallow bit. And not go on my ass. And there you go. That's the fun, these goddamn rocks are on. But we're across. Whereas before they got a little wet, they are now thoroughly soaked. Sweet. But the river, on the other hand, has been crossed. But now could probably be a time to say, if this was going to be a multiple day trip, it's not, but if it were, then one might recommend extra socks and boots, because what just happened to me is how trench foot happens if you're going to be marching around for 3 days in the weather. Well, it's not muddy, it's just I resolved to get across the slippery rocks, and I did, so. So for the sake of my own edification, we will go a ways up here since I've already soaked my feet. Might just as well. The underlying terrain seems to be a lot of these eye poker stuff, though. And a lot of rib poker, maybe. Fun. So far, a lot of, although if I had to hydrate by way of what's on the landscape, I prefer the river because it's moving water, given the choice. I know it's cold enough for my feet. Yeah, let's take a walk and see what's up here, since I am curious. Not a major deviation, just if I can find a way around this damn log, or just over it. Sight. Move. This looked like a cleaner traverse when I got there, but this looks like a vantage point. Just a stream from the look. No spider webs. Incidentally, if you use permethrin like I do, it is probably worth noting that permethrin, while it kills ticks dead, has zero effect on spiders, so you might bear that in mind. Quick point to be made. If you're hiking up a steep hill and you want to trust a tree, don't. That is why. Might not be as sturdy as you think. Alright, back out to the path. That probably was not worth the effort, but oh well. Live and learn. better. Phew. I have to say, I think I like this solution better. Better than ducking and weaving. And we're back. Okay. I think I know exactly where we are, actually, where this came out. There's a cabin in the middle of nowhere out here, as you see ahead. Last time I was a little more respectful. Tonight I'm going to be a little nosy. I am curious. I won't go all the way. I'll stop at the wood line, but I am curious because there really is no direct way to drive another connector. We are going to try to salvage some time towards Manitou because basically what I had hoped to accomplish was effectively that, seeing what links up to what, and that cabin apparently is some kind of connector between the two, so this is a larger loop. And down the road, that's actually some useful information. And this is definitely the trail that I was looking to map today. And if it comes out to that, then I basically know where it comes out further ahead. So our mission is largely accomplished. So we're going to head back, very likely redampen our feet, not once but twice. I might take a couple of minutes, since that kind of came to an unexpected end, and we will make our way north. No harm in looking. Again, if I can avoid going down on my backside and getting my feet wet. This doesn't look that deep though. The first rock I'm going to slide on. But should we come right out on the other, on another house out here? That'd be kooky. What's this? Somebody's been camping out here. All right, so it's not the road I was on before, but you got a trail going that way, paralleling to, in there. Yeah, somebody's camped here. I'm going to stick with this, though, since I wanted to spend some time working towards Manitou, but a little more human presence here, so does make me think this comes out to something. 3 points of entry are better than 2. I'm going to forewarn, too, that if filming this gives away the specific area, I am going to do some editing, because I am a firm believer in keeping areas neutral from others that have not been vetted towards my research areas. We have poo, indeterminate, maybe horse. I wonder if somebody horsed in here. If you want to make up a different word, equestrianated. But and we'll walk this back a little bit. I'm curious where this might end up. I don't know how far I'm willing to take it, but we'll see. Good to know there's a camp back here too, though. Actually, I'm actually curious about that cabin, though, because if that was like some kind of an emergency shelter, I wonder, I'm going to assume for the moment not until proven otherwise, but I wonder, that would make a spectacular base camp in the middle of nowhere, inside an actual building. That would be crazy. I tend to doubt it's that open, though. That would be too opportune. Little meadow on the right, left. Or another trail. Yeah, this is, okay, I do know where this comes out. It's the morning of connecting the dots. I should have called this episode Connecting the Dots. Here. I suspect I know exactly where I am. And if I look up here, how much you want to bet? I know where we are. Alright. A couple of connector trails. Good to know. Very good to know if I camp out here again. Very good. Very good. Timestamp is about an hour and 15 minutes into the hike, maybe a little more. The day's taken kind of an unexpected turn because I'm kind of connecting a couple of trails that are, they're here, but they're not main trails. I had to cross two rivers. My feet are quite soaked at the moment, but I had to cross two smallish rivers to get where we are. That'll probably be on the video. If you've watched that much of the video, you already know if it is. But things are connecting, and that's been an interesting part of the morning. At this point, we are going to work back towards the vehicle, and we are going to start our move north. I kind of thought the trail in question was going to go further, but it's not per se the trail I expected. So, I could take a left at the trail that I'm on and head north, and I would be on the way north to where I was a month ago. I've already done that. My goal today was to cover new ground, so we're not going to do that. We're going to take a different turn. We're going to head back and head north, then we are going to attempt to invoke the beginning of the Manitou project, and we will be on our way now. End of timestamp. We will check in again in a little bit. Evolve your the plans you've made so far. I try to plan out trips like this in a sequential manner, and sometimes that plan evolves on the basis of what you discover along the way. This may well be one of those trips. Is that a side trail or just a clearing? I think it's just a clearing. And I have, or if anything, I might wager you do have a fire pit here, though. Yeah, there might be a trail. It would stand to reason you'd have a couple of smaller connector trails in here. And that strikes me curious now. Wow. Interesting. Interesting revelations. I think we're going to tackle this one this time around a little differently. Since it's a little easier from this direction to get to the less crazy parts. And potentially more photogenic too. That, I would argue, is the case. Crossing a bushwhack, maybe, let's say. Of course, if we're just going to get our feet regardless wet, then I think it really gets any more shallow. So from here, actually, from here, this might actually be doable with a certain amount of care and navigational thought. And care, given the relative slipperiness of the rocks. Notably the ones I'm on. And we're wet. So what we just learned is keeping feet dry on that run was a pipe dream. Oh well, moving on. One crossing done, feet re-soaking. At least we have a theme for the day. The boots get a little bit of a washing, I guess. Were it a hotter day, that would actually be refreshing now, since the river water is not warm at all. I think the pain is you get this rocky part is slippery under the water, so you had to kind of go slow and careful. Matter of getting just your feet wet or getting your whole pride wet, if you know what I mean. But we're across, so oh well. My socks get to me.